Hey guys, welcome to Unit 3, Lesson 10, Writing Equations of Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. Okay, so we have written equations of lines given a slope and a point. We did. We wrote equations of lines given a slope and a point. We've written equations of lines given slope and y-intercept. We've written equations of lines from a graph. So you had the graph and you found the slope and the y-intercept. And now we are going to, we were also writing equations of lines given 2 points. So wow, you guys have done a lot, right? So you've written equations of lines given all these different scenarios. And you are now at the last scenario, which is writing an equation of lines that are parallel or perpendicular. So one thing I want to remind you guys of is that parallel lines have the same slope, okay? And perpendicular lines have opposite or negative reciprocal slopes. I also want to tell you that parallel lines, the notation for parallel is 2 lines like this, and the notation for perpendicular is 2 lines like this. Okay, so you might see that notation come up as I work through these problems. So what are we? So let's take a look at what you're doing. You're going to be given a linear equation and a certain point. So you're given an equation and a certain point. And your job is to create another equation that passes through that point and is either parallel or perpendicular to that given line. All right? So you're going to be given a line, and then you're going to be given some other random point that's not on that line, all right? Or on that line, really depends. And then you're going to create another equation, and that equation you're going to create is going to be either parallel or perpendicular to the one that was given. So you have to know these situations with the slopes. I call these are our slope clues. Okay, so the fact that the lines are parallel or the fact that the lines are perpendicular, those are your slope clues. So here's an example. Write the equation of the line that passes through the point -2, 7 and is parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1. So what are we doing? We are building a line. Okay, we're going to build a line. And what do we know about our line? Well, our line, we know that it passes through -2, 7, and we know that our line that we're building is parallel to y equals -4x plus 1. Why do we care that it's parallel to this equation? Well, since it's parallel to this equation, that means that my line's slope is -4. That gave us our slope clue. That was our slope clue, okay? Because the line I'm going to build is parallel to y equals -4x plus 1, then my line slope has got to be -4. So I know the line that I'm building, okay, the equation that I'm building has a slope of -4 and a point passes through the point -2, 7. So I have a point and I have a slope. Let's put that in point slope form. Y minus 7 is equal to -4x plus 2. Ooh, that again. Yeah, it doesn't go away, guys. Y minus 7 is equal to -4 times x plus 2. And that is the line that I've just built. That's the line that I've built that passes through this point and is parallel to this line, which means it has the same slope. And now I finish up that line by switching it from point slope into slope intercept form for my final answer. Okay, so distribute the -4 and add the 7 to get that the line I'm creating is y equals -4x minus 1. So here is my line, y equals -4x minus 1, which is definitely parallel to y equals -4x plus 1, and this line passes through this point. Let's do another one, another parallel. Write the equation of the line that passes through the point 3, -1. So the line I need to create passes through this point and is parallel to this line. All right. So what do I know about my line? I know the point is 3, negative 1. Do I know the slope of the line I'm trying to build? Not yet, but I can find it because the line I'm trying to build is parallel to this line, and that's my slope clue. Okay, that's my slope clue. And it's not very helpful to me in standard form because it's hard to grab the slope. So let's take this slope clue, this parallel line, and let's find the slope. So I'm going to switch it into slope-intercept form, subtract x to both sides, and I get negative 3y is equal to 9 minus x. Divide by negative 3 everywhere. And I have y is equal to negative 3 plus 1 over 3x. And I can see my slope right here next to my x is 1/3. So this parallel line, which came to me in standard form, is now that equation in slope-intercept form. So this parallel line has a slope of 1/3, which means the line I'm building has a slope of 1/3 because my line is parallel to him. So my line will have the same slope as him. Super. My line passes through 3, negative 1, and my line has a slope of 1/3. Let's build my line. Y minus minus 1 is equal to slope x minus 3, or y plus 1 is equal to slope x minus 3. Now, why did I put it in point slope form? Because I was given a point and a slope. And now you will switch it into y equals mx plus b format. So you follow the same process for perpendicular lines. The only thing is that for perpendicular, remember that the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So I'm building a line for number 3. I'm building a line that passes through 4, 3, and is perpendicular to y equals 2x minus 4. So my line has the point 4, 3 on it, and I'm going to wait on the slope for a second, and my line slope is, I don't know yet. So my line is perpendicular to this line. Well, that line has a slope of 2, which means my line has a slope of negative 1/2. Because the line that was given and the line I'm creating are perpendicular to each other. The line I was given and the line I'm creating are perpendicular to each other. So again, I'm trying to build a line that goes through the point 4, 3, and the slope of my line is negative 1/2 because my line is perpendicular to the line that was given. I will now put it in point slope form. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 4, and I will change it from point slope form into y equals mx plus b. Now guys, I'm not doing that step because at this point you should be able to do that step on your own and get the correct answer. And you can check that answer on Canvas. But you should be able to jump from point slope to y equals mx plus b by now. All right, so let's look at the last example. The last example is just like number 3, except they gave us the perpendicular line in standard form, which is super annoying, but that's okay. So here's the point of our line, and then here is the fact, here's our slope clue. Our line is perpendicular to 5x plus 3y is equal to negative 21. Okay, so let's find what is the slope of this line. I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's check it out of standard form. So I'm going to start by subtracting 5x to both sides. Bring that over here. That gives me 3y is equal to 21 minus 5x. Divide by 3 everywhere. And I have y is equal to 7 minus 5/3 x. So my slope, or this perpendicular, not my slope, but this guy's slope is the slope is negative 5/3. So my slope of the line I'm trying to create should be positive 3/5. And my slope should be positive 3/5 because my line is perpendicular to that line. So here's the info I have. I know my line passes through the point negative 5, 1. And I know my line has a slope of positive 3/5. So I put it into point slope form as such, and then I switch it into y equals mx plus b format. Now, this is a little bit tricky sometimes, but if you can understand that the parallel or perpendicular is your slope clue, and that will tell you what the slope of your line is supposed to be, and you write the information of your line separate, hopefully you won't mix these two pieces together. We're going to do a lot of practice on this, so if you'd like to try a couple on your own, you can go to the next page and try a few of them and self-correct. We're going to spend a lot of time doing these over and over again to get the process sealed in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for learning.